that's when I remember, oh, this is for real. Hi, beautiful people. I'm making this video today to share my story about my journey as an injured dancer. It has been a very complicated, overwhelming journey, to say the least. Throughout this period, I've been looking for other people sharing their stories and their journeys as an injured dancer, just so I could have someone to relate to. I haven't really been able to find much on that, so I thought I would make a video and start a channel documenting this journey. Last summer, I injured my spine. It was a very scary time of my life when I very first got injured. Being so uncertain of the future or of where you're going or doing with your life in general is such a scary thing to go through at any stage of your life. For a good amount of time, I didn't even want to fully accept the fact that I was injured. I was very much in denial, and that is probably one of my biggest mistakes, which is probably the reason why 8 months later, from the very first day or the very first point that I got injured to now, I'm still in physical therapy. So for everybody thinking this is my comeback, she's back, everybody thinking she's back, she's here to dance. No, I'm not here to dance. I'm just here to share my story with everybody. I'm here, but I'm not dancing. That's not the point of today's video. And quite frankly, I really, truly, at this point, don't even know when I'm going to be dancing again, still. So we're going to put dance content, as in my dance covers and videos, on the back burner for now, and I'm just going to be sharing my story. I've been dancing since I was little. Me and my sisters, we started dancing together. From there, we expanded a little bit into cheer. We did all-star cheer, all-star dance. Finally, in high school, I only did all-star dance because in my actual high school, we weren't allowed to do the drill team and the cheer team, and I chose cheer because at the time it was just what I was interested in, is what I wanted to do. And then post high school, I studied dance in college. That's what I got my bachelor's in. And I don't regret it a single bit. I was actually pre-med before that, and I was supposed to be leaving to Austin. And very last minute, I literally decided the night before I was leaving to Austin orientation, like, I don't want to go. So I didn't, and I stayed. And at our freshman orientation that goes on here at the college, we were being separated into our groups, and I just remember not even thinking twice about it. I walked over to the table where they're signing your papers. You're kind of declaring, okay, I'm going to take this class, I'm going to take this class, this is my major. And I went into the major switch line, and I, without giving it a second thought, just switched my major to dance. I didn't know why. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know anything. I just knew in that moment that that was what felt right for me. And so I didn't doubt myself. I just went for it. Since then, I've done pro dancing, I've done pre-professional dancing, I've auditioned for the NFL and made it as a finalist. I joined some K-pop cover teams. Since then, a few of my now teammates made the team that we're on now, and I transitioned over to that team with them, and I've made so many memories. That's my new secret dance team, basically my baby. It's been a big learning experience for all of us from point A to point B, and I'm very proud of what that team has become. Apart from that team, I'm now on another team, and it's called Cass, created by one of my dear friends, Kate. I'm so very proud of her. This last year, we went and competed at World of Dance, which was our goal for the season, and we were the only rookie team in our division to actually make it. So I was very proud of that as well. I'm rambling. This injury, to say the least, has been extremely transformative for me, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. When you're a dancer your whole life, you don't really realize how much of your identity is tied to being able to move, whether that be just in dance or in your everyday life. So when I got injured, it wasn't just my body that broke down, it was really everything that I was and who I am, because I didn't know life without dance, you know? It was my happy place, it was my outlet, it was my way away from all of my stress in the world. It is quite literally the biggest part of who I identify myself as. So when I first got injured, I didn't want to believe it. I was, I'm just a little sore from my back. You know, I'm gonna keep moving. I'm just going to take a little bit longer of a water break at practice. I just need to stretch more when I get home. I'm just getting really sore. And then slowly the pain became a little bit more noticeable. So I was like, ooh, I think my back's getting a little bit swollen, because when I was in high school and I was in cheer, I did have a back injury in the sense that I strained all of the muscles in my back from my neck to my lower spine. So I was like, oh, this is kind of just flaring up again. I just need to take a little bit of a break. I took a few days off and then I was right back at it. And that was last June when I first got injured, that I was in denial. July is when it started to really slow me down. I was noticing I was overcompensating for one leg while I was dancing. So, like, my left leg would kind of fall behind, or I wasn't as smooth with my footwork on the left, or I was consistently putting more weight on the right foot. And you can see it, like, in my slides. I was kind of dragging the left leg. So that's when I kind of really started to notice that something was off. That was in July, mid July. And by August, my body broke down. Having to kind of sit out at practices because my leg was always hurting, or my back was always hurting, or I was just getting really fatigued really fast. I had to start sitting out of dances for my K-pop cover team. At my competition practices, I was having to sit out a little bit more or start marking a little bit more. So August, I really started to slow down. By the end of August, I was done for. I couldn't walk properly anymore. I was consistently sitting back because my back was too tired to hold myself up to sit. The only reason in September that I was still dancing was just because of prior commitments. So from January to September, I had been training for this one goal. I didn't want to give up that goal. So I pushed through, and had I just given myself the time to recuperate in June and July, I would have been fine to go in August, September. But now I am here 8 months later, suffering the consequences of not listening to my body. So we competed, I believe, the first week of September, or like the beginning of the second week of September. At that point, at practices, I was no longer dancing. I wasn't anything. I kind of really just showed up to WOD, marked everything as much as I could, gave it my all on the stage, and dipped. That was all I could really do at that point. I remember the car ride home. I was in so much pain. I could not bear the pain in the car. I was sleeping the whole time. I was slumped. The day after competition, because we stayed an extra day after competition for the team to recuperate, bond, and whatnot, I didn't even get to spend that time with my team. I remember everybody going out to eat, and I stayed behind and I just slept because my body was so exhausted and in so much pain that I couldn't do anything. So we came back, and I told my sisters and I told my friends, I was like, guys, I just need to rest. Like, I'm gonna be back at it in no time. I'm just so exhausted. I think I've been overstraining myself, overworking myself. I just need to rest. I'm gonna give myself 2 or 3 weeks to rest and I'll be good. A week passes. I couldn't walk. I couldn't lay down comfortably. I couldn't sit comfortably. I couldn't do anything. I was in pain. And I remember my little sister crying to me, and she's like, you need to go to the doctor. Something is very wrong. And you are not taking this as seriously as you need to, because this is your back. It could be anything. And hearing my sister say that, seeing my sister cry because she was concerned for my well being, is what really snapped me back into it and realized, like, I am not taking care of my body. This is going to mess me up for good if I don't do something now. I decided to listen. I made my doctor appointment, and at my first appointment, I remember them telling me, we think you might have fractured some vertebrae in your back. You need to stop moving. You need to stop dancing. No dancing until further notice. So that's when I remember, oh, this is for real. And I finally stopped. After a few doctor's appointments and some scans, we actually realized that I had some herniated discs in my back. My whole lower back basically kind of caved in and squished itself. So all of the nerves, all of the vertebrae, all of the muscles in that area were kind of just being squished and crumpled together. And my hip bones were out of line. My muscles were completely shot. Like, it was serious. Since then, I've had a few procedures, I've had some injections, and I have been in physical therapy since then as well. It has been 6 months that I've been in physical therapy now. I have gotten insanely better. I'm finally able to walk again. Just recently, I finally was able to touch my toes again. I couldn't touch my toes anymore. I couldn't bend forward anymore. So that was really nice to have a little bit more range of motion. I can start twisting again. I can hold myself up. I can sit. I remember I couldn't even clean my room at some point, and now I'm finally able to do that again. And I do have to still take some breaks here and there. But for the most part, it's going good. We're going good. We're going strong. So going back to where I was, yes. When you're dancing your whole life, you really don't know how much of your identity is tied to that. For a long time, I was just trying to survive. I was just working, trying to make it through my day without breaking down. It was mentally one of the hardest points of my life. Not being able to participate in my hobbies. I couldn't go out to eat anymore. I couldn't go sit at the park, which was one of the other places that I'd go to enjoy my time. Like, I am telling you, I had no sense of self-identity at this point. I just fell into a horrible depression. I felt so stripped of who I was, and for a long time, I was just a shell of a person. One day, I woke up and I just decided, like, I cannot be this person anymore. I cannot let this injury continue to hold me back. Like, I have given it so much of my time and energy and just of myself. And really, really, when you're injured, you can only go as far as your body is willing to take you. And at this point, my body was willing to take me to bed and to the sofa. And that's pretty much it. Even then, it it did not even want to be in bed. It did not want to be on the sofa. But I allowed myself to feel what I was feeling for as long as I felt like I needed to, until I felt ready to come out of that. And when I did, that was this turning point of I had to ask myself, who am I without dance? And I really did not know. And that was probably the scariest part of this entire journey. So I asked myself, who is Fatima? What does she like to do? Yes, I love dancing, but why do I love dance so much? Because it's my art. It's how I express myself. It's how I communicate. It's how I show my emotions. It's the place where I feel most authentically myself. So it wasn't exactly just dance that made me feel that way. It was the expression of myself through art. And I realized I'm an artist. I love creating. I love sharing my passion with people. I knew I had to find some other way to be able to express that so I didn't feel so trapped in my mind. And that is what my YouTube channel is. Complete transparency, I really don't know where this YouTube channel is going to go. I don't exactly know what I'm going to make of it. I just know that I want to create. I am not going to wait to be fully healed to start creating again. But yes, apart from that, apart from my journey, I know I want to create a fun, safe environment for me, for you, maybe help somebody out there that's going through the same thing as me. And if you are going through the same thing or something even remotely similar, I know it is so hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, especially when everything is still so uncertain. Like, I know for me, I have a follow up finally coming up with my doctor again to see where I'm at. I have a physical therapy reevaluation coming up. It's basically going to be just a check in again. And I am so scared that I will not be able to dance again. I know the odds of me dancing again right now are probably so slim because really, really, I'm not able to go through an entire week without feeling pain in my back. But the only solid advice I can give you if you're going through anything remotely similar to what I'm going through right now is to allow yourself to feel all of the feelings that come with this crazy journey. Running away from your feelings is going to do no good for you or for anybody around you. Feel them, accept them, and when you are ready, move on. Do not let this small chapter of your life identify you as a person. And that is so much easier said than done. But at some point, you do have to just sit yourself down and tell yourself it is time to move on. It is time to keep moving. because if you don't keep moving, you are going to stay stuck where you very first started before you ever got injured. And what I mean by that is, don't let this be for nothing. Take it as a learning experience, grow from it, and keep moving forward. You are going to dance again one day, I hope, or move again one day if you're a hiker or a swimmer or whatever your sport or art may be. Even if you never get to do that again, it may feel like your life is over, but it's not. You're still breathing, you're still thinking, you are still a person with or without your sport. And I wish I would have told myself that sooner, because for a long time I was so lost. But finally getting slowly better, I realized that if I go through this injury and I have learned nothing, then this really, really was all for nothing. And I don't believe that. I don't think this was for nothing. I think, not to say you need to go through a hardship to grow and evolve, but typically that is where growth comes from. It's from hardships and difficult experiences and learning about the journey. So, yes, I don't know exactly what this YouTube channel will be. I don't know where my journey is headed. I don't know where I'm headed, but I do know that I want to document this journey and who I'm becoming. And we are in this together. You are not alone. I'm not alone. There's so many people in your life, in my life, that love you and want to see you succeed and want to see you get better and see you evolve and find yourself again. And even if you don't have anybody in your life that wants to support you or is there for you, I am. And we're in this together. I think that's pretty much all I have to say for today. But if you have any other questions in regards to my journey, please feel free to comment them below and I will gladly answer any sort of questions you have. You can leave them in the comments, or you can head on over to my Instagram and send me a DM. Or if you have any challenges, YouTube videos you'd like to see me film, please feel free to leave that down below as well. And yeah, I am so happy you're here. I'm grateful, and I am excited to see where we go. Bye.